Hey everybody, welcome to Friday Follow-Up for April 12th to 16th. It's been an exciting week. I'm sure even the most mainstream of you have saw the Coinbase direct listing and the pretty successful pop that created for investors. So there's obviously a ton of liquidity and excitement in the crypto digital asset space, which continue to try and work and get on those waves and ride them as successfully as I possibly can. In that vein, Lasso Finance is doing quite well with our partner Blockchain, blockchain.io/Lasso Finance. Blockchain is in the same business as Coinbase. They have a specific market focus around Brazil and South America. So kind of where Coinbase's interest is being compliant and running in North America, specifically in the United States, which is clearly a big market. Blockchain's covering that very well for the Brazilian market, and we're really excited to be partnered with them. The Lasso ETH product has been up and running for about 2 weeks. One Lasso ETH represents one ETH, and so the order book there is ETH to LETH. That LETH again has that one-to-one peg as assured by a on-chain smart contract. The ETH is pegged to a validator node. That validator node is on the Beacon chain, which is validating Ethereum 2 network and earning a validator reward, which is pretty much tracking right now at a 7 to 8% APY ETH on ETH reward curve, a yield curve. And so one ETH stake today, 12 months forward, should be worth somewhere from 1.05 to 1.08 ETH. And so Lasso ETH should be trading somewhere in that range, either directly at the net present value of the validator reward and its accrued yield balance. And so the 32 ETH that's attached to the blockchain validator node is, I think, about 32.4, bunch of numbers after the 0.4. In terms of that, so that 0.4 represents the accrued yield that any Lasso ETH holder would be entitled to from a pro rata perspective. So I think that creates a really interesting pricing dynamic. I'm going to write a post and share it with the blockchain community and obviously all of you probably next week. So look forward to that if you want to get a better idea of how do you price a wrap token, especially a price token that's attached to validator yield. The next big piece is really in this vein of underlying assets and attaching them to crypto. And so the work that I've done with FactorChain, which is pretty much about a 12-month-old project, really been exciting. You probably heard a lot of what I've talked about in this venue has been about the beer is my business aspect of that, of really trying to understand the craft brewery industry, because we've applied loans into the craft brewery industry. So we're trying to attach working capital loans into accelerating their demand, increasing the throughput. So really getting after the inventory of how can we help you sell more beer by injecting capital into that process. And so we're taking those loans, we've posted one of them to the Centrifuge Tin Lake marketplace, which is a decentralized finance market. Those NFTs represent real world loans with real world cash flow attached to them. We went through the whole process of minting the NFT, putting it up on the market. We now this week closed it as we paid off the loan. And so we posted the NFT, we funded it with DAI, we then paid it back with DAI. And through that process, we've earned the centrifuge rewards as well as paid back the interest on the loan. And so there's an additional pop and additional yield that came off doing that loan and doing it on chain. Big challenge with that is the Ethereum layer 1 transaction expenses. So the gas expenses were just atrocious. So that really points to the critical importance of where I'm spending a ton of time, and my partners Jimay and Zad and Lasso Finance and BlockX Labs are really spending a ton of time on, like, how do you scale up and start solving that transaction cost, which is a massive business problem. We couldn't run FactorChain on a layer on the Ethereum layer 1. The gas expenses would put you at a business one loan deep. And so what are the layer twos? And more importantly, what I think is really fascinating is Polkadot, and specifically the parachain strategy, which Centrifuge is aligned with that. And Centrifuge is taking its application and building it into a parachain application. It's one of the first 5 live testnet parachains. And really looking at that space, a bunch of action there. So if you're interested in parachains and how they work, what's going on, want to have a discussion about that, really encourage you to reach out. Want to learn about more what we've done with Centrifuge Tin Lake as well as FactorChain, especially if you're a brewer out there. We'd love to give you a loan. Reach out and challenge us to figure out a way to make a loan to your brewery. And I'll only ask for like a 6-pack as a tester, just to make sure we've got our risk model aligned. The next piece that I really wanted to share is, in that vein of the parachain, is the work that Chimane's have done around ThorChain, creating the parachain for ThorChain. ThorChain, if you're not aware, is a automated market maker, and so very similar to Uniswap, PancakeSwap, 1inch are kind of the 3 big ones that are absorbing a ton of capital, crypto capital. And ThorChain's big differentiator there is it's interoperable. So the parachain is going to allow it to interoperate across the Ethereum network, the Web3 Polkadot network, a number of other systems. Its big announcement was they interoperated with Shapeshift, which that was pretty cool to watch. So the ThorChain ecosystem is super interesting and kind of tied into that parachain conversation. So I'd really, if you're a ThorChain Rune interested party, please reach out. Love to talk to you. The next piece I really want to share is a project that I was very heavily involved in terms of being a participant in the community and working on it directly, was Digital Bits. Digital Bits has come up with some really great announcements, and I'm working to get more in-depth information on what's happening there. But they've announced NFTs, so they're going to do non-fungible tokens on that chain. It's much less expensive to run than Ethereum, which revert back to my gas statements there earlier. Doing on a higher throughput, higher transaction volume chain is an interesting proposition. Lots of action there. Digital Bits has got involved in that. And an interesting kind of parallel example is what they've done in the e-gaming space, and they've created a stable coin for e-gaming that's running on that Digital Bits chain. And looks like there's a lot of activity in the gaming. So between NFT and gaming, there's lots of overlap there. So they have a stable currency in NFTs. I think that's really fascinating, and I suspect there'll be some really good action around Digital Bits. It's XDB's ticker. Go check it out. And the last piece of news that I want to share is a firm that I was part of the co-founding team of, co-founding CEO, helped raise the original capital and do a bunch of the first customer transactions. Very, very smartly, I think, got out of the way and brought in an industry team to really go produce ASICs. And the team has now produced 2 ASICs with a 3rd on the way and a 4th fully planned. Epic Blockchain has raised its Series A, so congrats to Earl and the team that have really made that happen. Really proud to have a small part about how that story has gone. So I wore my jersey today, so check out epicblockchain.io. I think that's right URL. But really proud of the team. Great job, Earl and Henry and Jim. Guys made the vision a reality, which was the hard work, was the reality part. And so shipping a ASIC in any environment is challenging, but you don't need to look too far to see the shortage and challenges of getting semiconductors to market is very large. So a startup team achieving that and now hitting the Series A milestone is a great achievement. So well done. We will be circling back on Monday Momentum on the 19th. Any luck, there'll be some new updates a week from now on some new projects that are coming through. Excited to kind of be in the exponential economy space, looking at some action around using routers as data capture vehicles, giving users true value back for their data that they're sharing over the web. So hopefully we'll be able to share more about those 2 different projects that I think also have some potentials for parachains. And also starting to dig in a bit more on the NEM symbol ecosystem, which is kind of tied back to what we've been doing at FactorChain. Very excited to see if we can make something happen in that ecosystem as well. So there's a bunch of teasers. Wishing you guys a great weekend. Enjoy the spring, and we'll talk to you Monday.